there. Sorry about that. This is part 17 of Jesus's teaching, and I'm doing this for history reasons. So if you're new here, I've combined Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John together with the best verses, and I'm showing in this text here the places where I got the verses. I've made many a video to explain all my editing, probably 80 videos of every word in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And what I did was I had these and I grouped them first by story, and then I placed them the best order that I could. And at this time, we're in the 5th day of Jesus in Jerusalem, coming to the end here. So what you're seeing is I'm adding notes here, and if you see, like up here, I've been changing the words a little bit to be more truthful and easier for a 12-year-old to read the text and understand it without having to go into extra secular dictionaries to find words and understand the meaning. So yeah, there's some words that I've taken or removed for that reason. And just like this, the text, when you see it in gray, I added, because here I know this is a disciple's name, and it's kind of hard to say what are the 12, because there's no real order where he picked them up. The text just comes up, and the problem with that is actually you're in the Bible, which is really stupid, has 3 different lists of 12 disciples, and none of them are the same, which means the disciples didn't know each other's names. Okay, that's how corrupt the text is. So I decided which ones there were going to be put into the text, and to get each one to participate as a disciple, I added Thaddeus here. So the end of man on earth is the title of this little section here. Jesus was sitting on a hill with olive trees when Thaddeus asked him, what happens before your second coming for the end of man on earth? Now this goes to some of the text that's mentioned above. There's a few places that Jesus is now talking more and more about the final judgment and things like that in the text. So I grouped most of the text together to be in one day here. So that was the example. This verse here is for Matthew, and then it's to Mark, and then I got Mark, and then Matthew. So anyways, this is talking about his second coming, and at this point, this is the best to explain the man is going to not exist on earth after Jesus' second coming, okay? There's verses above that when I combine them together, they all make sense only if the text reads end of man on earth. So you'd have to go to Matthew in my YouTube, on my website. I have all the links to all the videos, all the PDFs are there for you to watch the video, search it, whatever, grab the book, grab the text to then watch which video you want to watch, to explain what was edited here, to know what has happened. Other than that, you're going to have to just use your Bible text to see the changing. What I've done, and I'm using the New American Standard Bible, word for word in order, unless I needed to switch a word here and there, difference. And I tried not to influence the text by my own wants, because I am Jesus's helper, and when the text revealed itself, it does say that I will tell the truth and not by my own wants, okay? Now, when I'm saying I had to add Thaddeus, it was decisions that needed to be made. Jesus told them, "Listen to me, that no one misleads mine. For many will come in my name, saying, I am like him, to mislead many from me." So this is Jesus speaking about what's going to happen before the second coming. Okay. That's pretty easy. We know we got a lot of false preachers now, and every once in a while one pops up, says, "I'm a prophet," and then people get the little group together, and then they end up doing stupid things and just false teachings. A lot of them will even say, "I'm a preacher, I'm a teacher," and yet they're actually learning from the church fathers who actually taught Jesus as a myth. And in my description on YouTube, or maybe it's on another, I don't know if it's doing this on Kick or not, given that, but you'll find if you go to my YouTube channel and get to my name down below here, gives you my name for my channel, and then just search myth, and you'll, oh yeah, in the description I have it. Yeah, I see it here. How a bishop describes the church fathers have always taught Jesus as a myth. So mine are not to be frightened. When people, yeah, I got that. Yeah, I didn't see the top part of the H here. All I seen was near of wars. I thought, that's not right. When people hear of wars or rumors of wars, mine are not to be frightened, but those must take place. But that is not your end. So if you ever heard that the end of World War III, or what everybody likes to say, when it's just stupid talk right now, because it just seems that everybody thinks that World War III is a catchy word to say right now. But I'm sure people were thinking that after the nuclear or the bombs were dropped in World War II, that it's very easy now to end the world by war, but that's not how Jesus is teaching how the end will happen. So people might fear of these wars or rumors of wars, but mine are not to be frightened, but those must take place, but that is not your end. The end is when he is his second coming. Okay? There's many verses that go with that to describe how Jesus is going to be seen by everybody and then judge everybody and separate everybody. For kingdoms will rise against kingdoms, and there will be famines and earthquakes. All these things are like birthing pains. I'm going to get rid of this verse right now. I don't think it's needed to be said. Therefore, it's out. I'm going to add it. I guess I'm going to put it together to show this by this. Make a note for myself. But those must take place, but that is not your end. For kingdoms will rise against kingdoms, and there will be famines and earthquakes. Okay. Even now they're predicting like volcano eruptions, like in America, that'll end the world. Um, you're not to believe that. Don't worry about that. Believe Jesus. Take heed, for after many generations, take heed, for after many generations, for my truths of my kingdom are to be preached to the whole world as a witnessing to everyone after the end will come. So this needs to be loose. And that's it's not working all of a sudden. That would be terrible. after the end will come. Well, this is part of the second coming. And it also is two things here. That's what you're seeing right now, is prophecy of the witnessing my truths of my kingdom are to be preached to the whole world. That's starting now. This is the beginning of this prophecy. Okay? So I tell people I am the helper, and if you listen to any of my videos, this is prophecy. Our Creator has sent me. Our Creator made me see Him 8 times. So the thing here is in my video, which you can search for Afterlife. That tells you the 7 times our Creator made me see Him. And you too can experience the abyss, your soul. You have an existence of your soul and another dimension of time and space, known as the abyss in the text that you'll read here. So this is what's going to come before His second coming. So this is what's happening, the beginning now. And I tried to say before there was 2,000 years before this happened, because the computer age needed to happen for me to be able to do this. So is it 2,000 more years before Jesus comes? I would say nobody knows. Jesus says nobody knows. So I would expect at least another 1,000 years. Anywhere 1,000 years is my minimum guess. Okay, and I'm just saying it's my guess. But when this happens and then it's preached around the world, this should take probably within the next 50 years. And I'll probably be dead before all this happens. But I'm trying to get it announced and get it into print. So it will be able to be picked up and passed off in my will that I've made. Mine are to be on guard. Then they are delivered. When they are delivered to the court or stand before officials or leaders for their testimony of me to them. This is things Jesus is saying that also happened to His over the time after. And as you know, there's many, there's a religion on earth now that kills Christians just because they're Christians. So you know that's false teaching. So I could get into many explanations why. But you are to be on guard. Mine, Jesus, the ones who are now obeying Jesus are to be on. So this is a guidance He's given you. If they arrest you or deliver you up, do not be anxious beforehand what you will say to them, for you will not speak. His holy words will help you. Meaning our Creator will give you the best understanding of how you understand Jesus and our Creator, and those words will be spake by you at that time. Okay? Not that our Creator is going to speak through your mouth and you're prophesying. That's not what this says. But this is how this was added, because it was saying by His Holy Spirit. And I've done videos on that. You can search my site or even the web or YouTube, you should be able to type Jesus defines what is Holy Spirit. For mine will be hated on account of my name. Who endures to the end will be safe with me. I left it as the word safe, not be redeemed to be with me. Be safe with Him, meaning from ever after you're in heaven, there will be no one persecuting you over the knowledge of our Creator and Jesus. Okay, here it's going to be about the second coming again, so make sure this here. fear the things happening on earth. Then from the stars they will see I, their Son for man, coming on clouds with power in my glory. Now, when it says my glory, it means that he's going to look like an angel all white with wings. Okay, this is the glory that's when he transfigures all white still on earth, but angels have wings. So the power that our Creator is going to give him at that time in his glory, for everyone on earth will see me with my power and in my glory. Then I will send forth my angels to gather together mine from earth. Then your heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Meaning everybody will remember this time that we had on earth. That day no one knows, not even his angels in heaven, just our Father. Take heed and stay alert. My coming will be like the days for Noah. So now you know that there's going to be corruption of the text that I'm teaching right now. This will spread around the world, be around probably for a few hundred years, and then all of a sudden people are going to try to find fault, say I didn't do this. They're going to try to adjust the text, and then they're just not going to pay attention anymore, and they're just going to be worried about earthly things. And if those that are left that truly are believing are going to be at a lesser amount than the next couple hundred years. So this is what he's warning us about. Before the flooding, they were eating, drinking, and marrying for themselves until Noah entered the boat. Therefore be on alert. They do not know the day their king is coming. Blessed are my servants when I come. So I will put that in. Yes, there will be books that I'll make by copying this text and putting it, I don't know where yet, maybe like a help guide to this book by, instead of everybody trying to say, well, let me go search this text, even though I have it so you can search it, I will then combine a book with all that in it, or at least that's my hope before I die. Then Jesus told them a few parables. A male having 10 rams and lost one, will he not leave the 9 to search until he finds it? And when he finds it, he rejoices. And at home, he tells his friend, I found my ram which I lost. I say I am the same way, and there will be rejoicing in heaven over every sinner who repents. This means that after his kingdom is established, which is after his body dies, this is taking place. Okay? So it means those that heard about Jesus, heard about our Creator, and then were deceived and left, and then they find guidance and now found somebody that can truly trust. They can trust by saying, this I can trust as Jesus and our Creator wanted me to trust, and they return. So this is by finding the text is a parable, which means you're going to re-find Jesus, okay? So the thing here is when he found it, he rejoices. Here's another parable. A widow having 10 silver coins and loses one, will she not weep, or will she not sweep her home to search for it? And when she found it, she rejoices. I say to you, there is rejoicing by my angels over every sinner who repents. When you repent, like the proverb that he gives of how many hours, and he gives the proverb of having 12 hours in the day, that is a parable that says that you must work 1/12 of your life being obedient to our Creator. That's how Jesus teaches that parable. So you might figure out where your life is at right now, and 1/12 of it. If you've been a sinner, you have 1/12 of that. You've got to repent, and repent means you aren't turning back away from Jesus or our Creator. You have to do our Creator's will first by trying to obey every statute, commandment, law, and guidances the best you can. Emil had 2 sons. Now this okay, it's parables, and it's going to be, so yeah, these are all parables here. Okay, I just want to make sure because this is going to be a parable. A male with 2 sons, the younger asked his father to give him in money his share of inheritance, and he divided his wealth between them. Days later, his younger son gathered his goods together and went to a distant kingdom. There he misspent his money by living willingly. When he spent everything, he began to be in need, so he went to one of the richer for work, and he sent him to his pens to feed his pigs. But he too was hungry and wanted to eat their feed, for none of his servants gave him food. Then he thought, many of my father's servants have enough food to eat, yet I will die here from hunger. Now I'll go to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against Yahweh, and in your sight I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Allow me to work here. I had to add this to keep the story going. As he was going to his father, okay, let me explain this part of the parable. When he left and he went to another kingdom, which he states here that he was against, Yahweh just didn't believe all the things that he was supposed to, and then he was living this willingly life for himself, and then ran out of money, and then he went to work for a richer, and he sent him as a servant to feed his pigs. But he was hungry because that master's servants weren't willing to give him even food. Kind of the treatment here of that person is more or less to be understood through this one verse as just not food. He's being mistreated as well. As he was going to his father saw him and had compassion for him, and when he embraced him, his son said, Father, I have sinned against Yahweh. In your sight I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Allow me to work here. His father said to his servant, Bring my best garments for him to put on, then butcher a fattened calf for us to eat and be happy, for my son was lost, and he has come home again. This is like the sinner repenting, coming back to our Creator and wanting to have the abundance of better way of life, which is obeying our Creator. Now his older son was in the field. Now this would be talking about this is a representation of some say in heaven, say, well, he just took off and we are more worthy because we obeyed our Creator to get into heaven. So that's this part of the proverb, how it's tied together, about explaining about his kingdom in heaven, how it's going to be. Now his older son was in a field, and when he approached the house, he heard music and laughter, and he called his servant and asked, What is the cause of these music and laughter? He said, Your brother has returned to your father, and he has butchered a fattened calf. Now, a fattened calf means a pinned cattle, cow, bull, female or male. And this is when, as you've learned now, that there's, they have found out that if you actually put a bull or the cow, female, in a pen that they can't literally move around, there's more fatness that they gain by just keep eating, and that meat is more tastier. So even at their time, they knew that they had them within a small field instead of letting them roam all over, like a herd, like it would be herding animals. So they most likely never did let the cattle go out, roam around, to be herded, because they can't really be herded. They're rather big, strong, and you certainly aren't going to control a bull. So the thing here is a fattened calf is pretty much this treatment of the animal. It's got more fat for a better taste to welcome him back, for him to be safe and well. So how does this relate to this meaning for the words that you're going to learn about our Creator and Jesus when you've now repented and you don't have the full story, you just want to come back, and you've made that announcement and you tried your best to enter into heaven for those 12 years and you didn't make it to the 12 years, that people are going to be saying, okay, you were allowed because of mercy and compassion, and now you're getting the knowledge from all the people that are in heaven that are encaged and are kind of gotten a better teaching and a way to teach others about our Creator and Jesus. Because I'm sure there's a couple hundred billion trillion to the 100 trillionth power to learn about our Creator. So a lot of things have happened. We will all be aware and understand the history of our Creator as He wants us to know. So we're going to constantly be learning about our Creator's history of creating beings. And I would say not only what's going here on Earth, it's got to be happening on other planets in this universe. So there's a lot for us to learn when we're in heaven. Now, he became angry and was not willing to go inside, so his father went out and talked to him, which means, like Jesus says, there's going to be different, he's going to be the king, then he's going to have the 12 disciples around him, then he's going to have like advisors, and then he's going to be assigning people over different groups according to their knowledge to help the others around them. So when it talks about his father, it's just going to be one of these leaders that are going to take that one aside and say, look, you're not paying attention and you're not learning. So his guidance is going to be, he said, Father, many years I have served you, and I never refused a command from you, yet you have never given me a feast that I dine with my friends. But when my brother returns, because of wasting his money on sinning, you butchered a fattened calf for him. He said, my son, you've always been with me, and all that is mine will be yours. This knowledge to be passed on, to be learned, and we're going to have a forever time to learn this. So I don't know what our plan is after we learn this. After a couple of 100 trillion years, we should all be caught up by then. Let us be happy and rejoice, for your brother was lost to us, now he has returned to us. Meaning everyone that is being saved and entering to heaven is to be treated as an equal and also to be taught, because everyone got there by our Creator's promise is, and nobody, like Jesus said, is perfect. So the thing here is we all have our faults and errors when we enter into heaven. So everyone is going to learn more and more. Everybody's going to be at a different rate of learning. So, but this is the understanding that you're here. Now you should be understanding that you should be proud that here we have another among us, because to be forever separated, that is not a good thing. So maybe I took too long in defining. I should be able to shorten that up to say it a little bit better next time. There was a rich man who had a steward over his lendings. I had to put this here because that's what the text is talking about. And I've had to add these words to correct the sentences to complete them correctly. It was reported to him he was not collecting from his debtors. So when I'm using the word debtors here, I used it here. But before he called him to tell him, what is this I hear about you not collecting? And now you are not, now you can no longer be my accounting steward. The steward heard of this and thought to himself, it's not perfectly wrote, but it's the best I can do with the text that we got. Like I said, I'm not trying to put influence on everything to read exactly like you want it to read, but the object here is this text should never be edited by anyone. So now you can no longer be my accountant. The steward heard of this and thought to himself, what will I do after my master takes my stewardship away from me? For I'm not strong enough to work hard, and I am ashamed to beg. He's also saying that when he's going to be leaving, it doesn't say it in the text, but this verse is here, and he's going to try to gain favor with others here. So he knows that you can no longer be my accounting steward, you're fired type of thing. But I didn't want to put that there. You just have to assume when you're reading these extra little in-betweens. And he gives his excuse that I'm not strong enough for hard work to work hard, say like field work, and I'm ashamed to beg. But I know what I will do for his debtors, that when I am removed from my stewardship, one will receive me into their home because I showed him favor and helped him out. Maybe he will help me out. So he went to each one of his master's debtor. Then he asked the first one, and this one should be first one, how much do you owe my master? He said, 100 measures of oil. He said, I will make your bill 50 so you can repay him. Needed to say that. So then he said to another, how much do you owe him? He said, 100 measures of wheat. So he said, I'll make your bill 80 so you can repay him. Showing I'm doing this to help you. His master praised the steward because he acted wisely for both of us. Meaning his master got something for those that didn't pay on time, and the debt was running higher. Now, the story will be, or should be known, that he's not going to be helping these guys out anymore, but he got what he could, because what is being taught here is going to be said here. So Jesus is teaching a parable, and then he's going to reply about the parable here. Right now he's going to say, I say make friends for yourself wisely, For you are to be trusted with little things, and also trusted to who is not always righteous with little things. Um, for you are to be trusted with little things, and also trusted to who is not always righteous with little things. And also is trusted also is trusted to who is not always righteous with little things. I'm not going to go into explaining this. I need more thinking to how this really ties together. So I will be teaching again. This is just helping me trying to edit the text here. So I might have to edit some of this some other way or said differently, because this one, who is trusted but not always. It's always not just with little things. Seeing these are now being talked of like servants being trusted with things about Jesus, but not always righteous with. Lesser. This seems to tell me it's really less. Little. Lesser. That's a better intent of what's being said. Now it makes more sense to me. For you are to be trusted with lesser things, that also is trusted to who? To, to, also is trusted to whoever, but not always righteous with lesser things. We read that to preachers today that say one thing and do another, even though they don't know a lot. It is with lesser. They're trying to. They're not always righteous with this lesser knowledge that they have. Yeah, that's got to be thought through to make sure I can put it more than just to a preacher. This would be like maybe a for you as a believer are trusted with lesser things. You, for you as a believer, as a believer in me are to be trusted with lesser things, not all the greater knowledge of Jesus, and also is trusted to whoever are not always righteous with lesser things. For you as a believer in me are to be trusted with lesser things, and as a believer in me is to be righteous with lesser. Also, a believer in me is trusted I think this is best type to use and also is trusted too, but not always, but is not always righteous lesser things before his will. I think I've got this right. I say, make friends for yourself wisely, for you as a believer in me are to be trusted with lesser things, and also a believer in me is trusted too, but is not always righteous with lesser things. And this does now connect with this really like that everyday now. And here, you as a believer in me are to be trusted with lesser things. This believer in me is trusted too, but is not always righteous with lesser things. Because I'm going to change it around to just. I don't want to use the word righteous. Is not always beautiful with lesser things. Only meaning to speak. Yeah, that would be wisely for the both of us. Both of us has to be here. And this is showing the difference between those that are just believers and not full trusting of Him, to be trusted with lesser things. Also, is trusted too, but not always lesser things. I think that this is the difference that Jesus wants to be pointing out here. Defend yourself wisely, even though if you're a believer in me, you're trusted with lesser things. Also a believer in me. This is almost like a separate. If I connect that to that and say this is separate here, it's a little bit different. Because that verse connects to that. This does not connect with this above it as well. So this is now guidance. But it makes sense the way I've heard it now to be tied to this subject, just like he's going to tie these others to this as well. That's the story he's told. And he's talking to the crowd. Who's he talking to? It's the crowd that he's talking to. I think this has to be split the way I've got it. And this is a different subject matter here. It will be easier to number here. Just change that. So, okay, that's what you get to see when you see it live. No servant can serve two masters. Either they will like one more than the other, or they will like one and despise the other. Therefore, you cannot serve Yahweh and money. This is another guidance. The story up here can be told to make good choices for Jesus and yourself. Meaning, don't screw over Jesus to make yourself better in life. Okay. I guess, yeah, I'm going to have to make sure I teach this because I'm really going to go into the teaching, although I might not release those videos until after I'm dead, because I want people to read it and figure out the text for themselves. And if they make it through all these videos to find things, beware those that are going to make videos and say, well, he said that, listen to what he says here, and I'm thinking this, and I'm thinking that. Watch what you're doing, because this is not a game. You're playing with your soul if you deceive people by saying I said things wrong, or I made things up wrong, or I did start putting my will on the text. That is not what I just did. I was trying to adjust the text to be as truthful to the words that are being said above them and below them, to say that this is now a guidance, like this is a guidance. Now our judges and lawyers were judging for money, and after they heard these, they disliked him. Because this was verse this and then this verse. What does this have to do with anything above? I don't think it has anything to do with above it. This is actually like even needed here. I can't think of any parable that I've discussed here in the last 5 or 6 videos. That would be almost like a comment on what's happening at the time. At this time. Find for this text. This has got either going to be removed or removed. Then Peter said, "My Lord, you are addressing this parable to us or to everyone?" Jesus told him, "I'm not a trusted servant, so their master puts in charge of his other servants to give them their meals at a proper time." Exactly as what I was trying to say above. So I hope I had that right. Yes, I did. So that servant who their master finds them doing good, when he returns, he will put them in charge of all his possessions. So this is talking about those in the futures. His second coming is in here, okay? If that steward says in their heart, "My master will take a long time to return," and they beat his other servants, or drinks to get drunk, then their master returns on that day not expected, he will assign him to a place with the other useless servants. So this is again the second coming text. Is it? Put it here. This is definitely about those of us after Jesus' body died on the cross. He knows in heaven. This is him talking about the second coming, a proverb for the second coming. It doesn't tell them that. This would have to be changed for everybody to understand. Are you addressing this parable? truthful. Just in this parable, I think that would be a good question I would say at this time, and Jesus' answer. Now we have hindsight, because this is all from all Luke's text. It's not divided up, and I don't. So this means this is the only story. I don't have other verses to say it's being said twice. That I combined them together. So this is going to be this parable. Are you addressing this parable to, if I change the word everyone to outsiders? Because it's obvious that he's talking, and they know that he's talking about his second coming, so they would know. So I'm pretty sure that if I put the word outsiders and outside the kingdom, or those addressing this parable to everyone. Us to text to make it clear. This parable could mean at their time. So just the word everyone could mean in the future as well. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I think that would be best to get the statement across. This would be it's coming. It could have come within 10 days after he ascended, or within 20 years. Okay. So they didn't know if he was coming ASAP or 4,000 years later. So yeah, I think the word everyone, and then everyone is reading it today, they would have to understand this being everyone is a future, because he is talking about second coming. Okay. Because this gets to the point of the second coming here and here. I came to cast a fire on earth to grant peace or division. He will assign him to the place with the other useless servants, for the king to cast a fire on earth to bring peace or division. They brought him a man with a demon, for he was blind and dumb. Jesus healed him, for he spake and saw him. Everyone began saying, "He is our son from David." There's no question now, people, this is just for people here arguing whether it is or not. It's all over for these guys. When the higher leaders heard them, they said he casts out demons as their ruler for demons. And this I'm going to leave as higher leaders because the highest ones now are done with Jesus. And I've sent out people to watch to see how to arrest him. So they're still plotting this because this is day 5 and there's 2 more days here. And then he's going to be arrested then. So this can be higher leaders, meaning the other leaders that come from around Judah and Simon's area, Simon's territory. I added the word higher, so if I get rid of the word higher, then that'd be okay. Because the word leaders need to be changed. People. I'll just say this and make them of importance. They cast out demons, and they'd be repeating what they heard the other day. But they just got done witnessing a miracle, and they still don't believe Jesus. Like Isaiah prophesied, and Jesus told them, those who are going to hear me are going to be hearing me because our Creator has decided already on who's going to enter into hell or into the abyss or into my kingdom in heaven. So that has to be put into this teaching when this is taught. But, for sure. Jesus replied, any kingdom divided against itself will fall, or family divided against itself will not be established. This is the outcome. Yeah, this has to be a period. This has to be a sentence. Satan casts out his, he is dividing them against himself. Then will his kingdom be established. And if I am Satan casting out demons, by whom did your brothers cast them out? So this was a verse that I had to stick someplace. It makes sense. Here we see in these were two. This must have been 2 stories that I was meshing together. Cast out his demons, talking about the blind and couldn't speak, blind and dumb. So I got the order that yeah, said correctly. For he was blind and dumb. Jesus healed him, for his son spake to him. Okay. Everyone begin. Okay. You cast out demons, by whom did your brothers cast them out? You cast out his demons by Yahweh's authority. Therefore my kingdom will be from Yahweh, and I have come to you. For how can anyone enter a strong man's home and take his property, unless he first binds the stronger man? So Jesus is teaching that He has given him his authority to cast out demons. This would be the second time that I know that he's specifically said, by our Creator's words, he is able to do this. So he has commanded Jesus to remove demons. So it was by his authority. It wasn't, and it was by his own will for his people that he knew were good to Jesus or obeying our Creator. So therefore my kingdom will be from my. This has not yet happened yet. That's why I was just making sure that the order, the way he's saying things, and I have come to you, meaning that this part, come to you, therefore my kingdom will be. And this needs to be removed from here. Is the order is that they first has to come to people, to Jerusalem as their king. It's supposed to be this. Come to you, Alan. Therefore, come to you, therefore my kingdom will be from my, like, you know, and I'm telling you the order of what's happening. Get a little stronger in this wording. But now, can anyone enter a stronger male's home to take his property unless he first binds the stronger male? Meaning that he's binding Satan's deceivement of not obeying our Creator. Jesus has to come to Satan, who is in possession of earth and ruler over earth, assigned to rule over, and then deceived or didn't obey our Creator and didn't teach about our Creator. He taught them that he was the goddess, and they should listen to his understanding of heaven. Take his property, which are people, Satan's people, unless he first binds the stronger male. You're right. Okay. Now you know what Jesus was saying in this sentence, because everything is a parable with meanings behind meanings, and that is what is being said here. Okay. Who is not for me is against me, who does not gather for me scatters them from me. any sin can be forgiven, but when man curses Yahweh, they will not be forgiven. This goes to because this used to be the word blasphemy, but curses is the correct word. And I got that information from in the Sinai. One of the Egyptians' sons was arguing with an Israeli son, and he was cursing Yahweh, so they had to, or Yahweh, so they had to take that information, take to Moses, how do we rule because of what he just did? So the thing there is he talked to our Creator, and our Creator had him stone him immediately. So this means he can't be forgiven for cursing Yahweh. So here I've replaced the word cursing to mean what I can find in the Hebrew text, and that's the only text that I can refer to come back to be here. So I want to note that, because if I die, I want people to know the story I've just said and tie it to that number where that is at in the text. Whoever speaks their words against me can be forgiven, but those cursing against his holy words will not be forgiven. So there's a couple things Jesus is talking about here. And for how can anyone being evil speak of goodness? For their mouth speaks of that which fills their heart, evil heart. For their mouth speaks of what? Jesus knows we have a voice box. That's why I said when he speaks out of his mouth instead of out of his tongue, from their tongue speak. I'm not going to use the word tongues. I'm sure Jesus understood more about our Creator created man than anyone at this time. So I know he would have said from their mouth to relate it to them to help them out. They would be thinking tongue speaks, but he said mouth. I'm trying to make Jesus' words truthful and not making him look like an idiot. Okay? For their mouth speaks of what? Of that which speaks of that which fills their evil heart. But a good male from their goodness brings forth what is good. This is the result of this is this. Yes, okay. Every careless word man speaks will be accounted on their judgment day. That's the day you die, is your judgment day. This is still Jesus judging you to enter heaven or to send you to the abyss. Let your words be righteous, for by your words you will be judged. Okay. When a demon leaves from man, it passes through an empty place seeking rest. This is the abyss that they're being able to enter into the soul and then be part of in the soul being possessed in the land of the living. But it does not find rest. The soul still doesn't find rest because they're still evil, so they can't. Okay, got that. Okay. Then it says, I will return to that body. Okay, when a demon leaves their exorcism, it passes back into an empty place seeking rest. You'd found rest by coming back into the land of the living through a man. But because he leaves man, he passes It becomes a they. Passes through. Place it is. Return to a place from this place to this one here. The same thing is being described as the word abyss. So that isn't really hard to understand why I did that. Abyss, seeking rest, but it does not find rest. Then it says, I will return to that body. When it returns and finds them not devoted to Yahweh, it will bring more demons, more wicked than itself to rest there. And the last state of that man becomes worse than the first. This was to explain how one can be have more demons than one, just like we know the one that had said we are legion. This is the way. This is the way it will be for this evil generation. When I use evil is completely against our Creator. Jesus is speaking about that time, but it's not. It's the poetry that they're having in this meditation sex practice. So that can't truthfully be said by Jesus. To have this meaning tied to exorcism. I'm going to remove this. I can't really truly say that Jesus would truly say something like that and be given to knowing the meaning behind it. I haven't received any knowledge to say that that has anything to do with the above text. Because this was the way of this evil generation. Okay, let me see that. This is the way. This is the way of this evil generation. that's pushing it to mean that those that were evil, possessed by demons. And that, no, this can't be said that way. No, not even that way. I can't say that that's I can't explain it to be truthful, what we said, to connect it to these verses. After a while, came a crowd of people from Simon to be healed, and Jesus healed their diseases and those troubled with demons. Then Jesus told them, "Blessed will be the poor, for them it will be easier to enter my kingdom from Yahweh. Blessed are those who wait for it, they will be rewarded. Some will be blessed, for man hated and insulted them because of me, for in the same way their forefathers treated his prophets. I say you are to have a dislike for your enemies, but do good to those hating you." In other words, you're not to love your enemies. That's just out. You are to have a dislike for your enemies, because your enemies are those that speak against our Creator, and those that are, example, faggots today. You should be staying away from them. And even like Jesus teaches, you better divide your family by that and say they no longer are part of the family, and then you're obeying our Creator. So they are your enemies. Okay, stay away from your enemies, but do good to those who are hating you. This would not be your true enemies, but those hating you. There's a difference here. So I'm going to change that to a period and make this a sentence. But do good to those hating you. I've had many people hate me, and I really didn't hate them back because I knew the words. Now I'm supposed to act by Jesus's guidance. So when I could do good to them, I did. Now, yes, I did argue with them. Yes, I didn't always like the ones that were really hateful and doing things on purpose to harm me. But those that were just hating or say hateful words, like speaking behind your back and telling you something different, you're still to act good towards them. You're still to show how you are a servant like Jesus. And those who curse you, petition for them to be good. That kind of is talking about how you pray. So petition means to ask. Pray is to talk to our Creator. Whoever hits you, offer them your other side. Whoever steals your clothing, offer them more. Give yours to who asks from you. Whoever steals from you, do not steal it back. You want people to treat you the same way you ought. And be kind when you give and expect nothing in return. Now there is, from the Psalms, there is text in the Hebrew side that the priests, the highest priests, gave away everything that they had and lived from day to day. Okay, they didn't gather money. They didn't gather to have an abundance of anything. And that was written about how the priests were obeying our Creator by giving to others, even if it hurt themselves. Okay, so This is a very high form of giving, okay? Your reward is to be angels for Yahweh, for he is kind to them. You're going to be rewarded to be an angel. You are to be merciful like our Father, judge as you would want to be judged, nor condemn as you might be condemned, or pardon as you want to be forgiven. Give as you would like to be given. Your standards of measures will be your measures of you. Okay. He spake in parables. A blind person cannot guide another blind, or they might both fall into a pit. A student is not higher than their teacher, but after they have been thoroughly taught, they will be like their teacher. There's a lot of work that I had to do to get these two. I can remember this is how it's supposed to be said. And that you go read that verse. Why look for a speck in your friend's eye when you did not notice the speck in your own eye? Or say to your friends, let me remove that speck from your eye, when you did not remove that speck from your own eye. This makes you a hypocrite. First remove the speck from your eye, then you can remove the speck from your friend's eye. Pruned trees don't always produce bad fruit. Or pruned trees don't. Why did I put them together? Pruned trees do not always. I don't know why that is not two words. I can't think of what I did. Pruned trees do not always produce bad fruit. When you prune a tree, you're trying to promote more fruit. Taking away what's needed to produce more fruit is by removing older limbs. Is to prune trees do not always produce bad fruit. Yeah, they don't. Their prune tree do not always. Meaning sometimes it will, but not all the time. Nor unpruned trees do not always produce good fruit. Yes, that's how it's got to be said. I think I worked on that one like I did this other one up here that I was telling you about the teacher. Yeah, I can remember. This needed a lot of editing to make it reasonably to be said truthful. But each tree is known by its fruit. For a good person bringing forth their good from their heart, an evil person brings forth. For a good person brings forth their good from their heart, an evil person brings forth their evilness from their heart. I kind of grouped them together. They're all kind of. I got stuck together. Anyways, I didn't want to have too many separations, so sometimes they are to be taught separate from each other instead of grouped together. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And then this will be the next group I speak about. And go from there. Other than that, I struggled through that one, but I think that's right.